Hello there, and welcome to another episode of Marriage Matters, brought to you by Marriage Beyond the Breach. I am your girl, Valerie Mason Chase, and this here is
Cookie Man.
the Cookie Man. So, first of all, I want to say Happy New Year. Happy New Year to all of you out there. I pray that you had an absolutely wonderful holiday, that you enjoyed your time with your friends and your family, and you had good food and you had good fellowship, and you just had a wonderful, joy-filled time. So, Happy New Year. And also, I want to thank those of you who have been watching from week to week. I want to thank you for supporting Marriage Beyond the Breach. I want to thank you for your comments. I want to thank you for anything you've done for Marriage Beyond the Breach, for Marriage Matters, for the Marriage Minute, because that's what we're here for. We're here for you guys. And so I just want to say thank you. Go ahead, Cookie Man, because you're looking like you want to say something.
No, I thought I was being blocked out by this stuff up here.
No, babe, they can still see you.
Okay.
That's on the screen.
Okay, gotcha.
But they can still see you.
Okay.
He wants to make sure that he can be seen.
Listen, if I'm gonna be here sharing my life with you guys, I want to be seen. I want to see myself.
Okay.
There you go. Okay, I'm good.
Okay, he can see himself. So, what we want to talk about on today, and it's just the Cookie Man and I. We don't have any guests with us on today. So as we are going in to the new year, we want to reflect back. We want to look back on some things, and also we want to look ahead for the new year, for this 2022, and what are our intentions for the new year going forward. And if any of you guys are watching, here, let me turn on the comments. Oh, Jackie. Hey, Jackie. If any of you are watching, and if you want to, you could join us and put in the comments, what intentions are you setting from a relational or a familial perspective going forward? So, Lovey, looking back at 2021, what for you are some of the highlights for 2021 for us?
Well, the biggest highlight is being here, sharing this moment with you. Actually, that trumps all highlights that I could even think about. I think back of the struggles that I've had throughout the marriage, and being able to get to the point where I'm able to discuss some things. Don't feel as
Go ahead.
Scared to talk about some things and worrying about the response. Actually, we did have a situation recently like that where something came up, and because of my failures or not sure how the response would be, I didn't know how to handle it. So I'm still learning how to deal with that. So to reiterate, the biggest thing for 2021 that I could look back on is being here today in this venue and to share this with you.
Okay. And I would agree. That absolutely is one of the highlights for 2021. And also, there are some other things that occurred in 2021. What was the birth of our fourth grandchild?
A boy, finally.
Finally got that. Finally got that boy. Elijah Aziz Warren Chase.
It's a mouthful.
Yeah, but we call him Eli. We call him baby Eli. So that was a highlight for 2021. For me, on a personal level, I started my retirement. And it has been such a tremendous blessing. And those of you who are out there who are getting close to retirement and you wonder what retirement is like, I'm going to tell you this. Retirement is what you make it to be. If you plan for it, just like anything else that you plan for, you have a better chance of it being successful. So if you plan for your retirement, you can have an enjoyable and you can have a wonderful retirement experience. Something else that was a highlight for me, Frank, is, well, for us. Hey, Andy, how you doing? Another highlight for us was our daughter finally our daughter and her partner, Jen, aka Rico, finally had their reception because it was postponed from 2020 because of COVID. And they were finally able to have that reception. It wasn't exactly the way that it would have been had it occurred the year prior, but still they could celebrate their union because they had actually gotten married the year before, and now they were able to have their reception.
Yeah, another event that was good as we ended 2021 was a trip that we were able to take to go to North Carolina to spend time with my father, brother, and sister, who I hadn't seen since her destination wedding in 2011, I think it was.
It's been at least 10 years. At least.
It had been 10 years since we had the opportunity to be in the same room together. So to be able to take my family, my grandkids, my wife, and my son and his wife, and so on and so forth, and to go down, right, and to go down there and spend that time with them was just as I still describe it as my hold on, don't say nothing. You might have to help me.
I forgot the name of the movie too.
What's it? Something moment. Oh my goodness, Denzel Washington.
No, it'll come to you.
But just to be able to spend time with
Antoine Fisher.
Antoine Fisher moment, where I hadn't seen my family, that side of my family, so long, and just to be under the same roof with each other was really a nice 2021 gift.
Yeah, that was really a great experience. Hey, cuz, I want to shout out Andy also and Rock, my nephew. Hey, baby, how you doing?
What are you laughing at, nephew?
So, probably because you couldn't remember the movie.
I know.
Yeah, so he was referring to, I don't know, you guys may or may not have seen the movie Antoine Fisher, but there was a scene where he was with his family, and he had, I think some of them he was meeting them for the very first time. That wasn't necessarily Frank's experience, but it was the first time he had been in the presence of his father, his sister, and his brother, nieces, all at the same time for quite a number of years. Quite a number of years. Something else that was, hey Liz, a highlight for 2021. I graduated from Cairn University with my master's degree in counseling. Thank you, Jesus. Because when I first started in the program, I was still working full time. So that was very challenging, to say the least. So that was a highlight for me. And launching Marriage Beyond the Breach. That was, for me, it was monumental because it was something that God had put on my heart quite some time ago, but I put it off and I procrastinated. And I go through these episodes of feelings of insecurity and not, I know he's looking at me, wow. And not feeling good enough. And it was primarily for that reason I put it off for as long as I did. But you know what? I believe in God's timing. So I choose to believe that it happened when it was supposed to happen. Okay. So it didn't happen when God first put it on my heart a year ago, a couple of years ago, but it happened when it was supposed to happen. So why'd you look at me like that?
No, I look at it like that because everything my wife seems to venture in, there's always this thought of despair or just nervousness, but she does so well in everything. So that's why I chuckle, because I know how it's I feel like I know how it's going to come out when she embarks on something and what the end product does look like.
Yeah.
Whether it's class, tests she's taking, counseling, this program that she's doing, I always know how it's going to come out.
Okay.
I'm proud of her.
Thank you, babe. I appreciate that. I really do appreciate that. I'm glad he know how it's going to come out because I'm always a nervous wreck, and I'm working at that. Okay, I consider my life I'm a work in progress, and I don't know if I'm ever going to have actually arrived, but there are still things that I'm struggling with, and those feelings of insecurity is one of those things. And And my daughter-in-law Liz mentioned also that I did take and pass my national counselor's exam. Woo, 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 woo. So now I am a licensed counselor in the state of Pennsylvania. And that was a great highlight for 2021. And also I received my certification as a Christian life coach. And that was through His Coach Training Academy. So those are some of our highlights. Let me see what Elaine is saying. Oh, saying congratulations. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, Ben. Hey, Ben. How you doing, brother? Thank you so much for watching. Thank you all for watching so much. I really, really appreciate that.
Excuse me.
So those are some of the highlights for 2021 that we had, even though, we all, like everyone else, we were dealing with issues of the pandemic and things that we couldn't do that we had done before, and just trying to figure out how we're going to navigate and do some things differently, because listen, life as we previously knew it is gone. It's never going to be the same again, whether it's the way we do work, the way we do business, the way we do relationships, anything, counsel, everything is different now because of the pandemic. There are so many things that we have to consider that we did not have to consider before. So I also want to look at, Frank, what setting our intentions for 2022. And we don't say making New Year's resolutions. We say, okay, what are our goals and what are the intentions that we're going to set going forward for 2022. And I'm a member of Change Church in Ewing, New Jersey, and Dr. Darius Daniels is my pastor. And at Change Church, every year there's a theme or a particular word, and the word for us this year is greater. And I think that fits so perfectly. And there's a couple of things that Pastor D said about that theme, greater. He said, greatness is not a vice, but it's a virtue. Okay. Because sometimes we can look at greatness from a negative perspective and think of, someone's got the big head, or, they're bragging on themselves. But he says greatness is really a virtue. It is not a vice. And this really got me when he said greatness means stewardship. Okay. And stewardship just refers to the ways in which you take care of something that's been entrusted to your care. And he's been entrusted to my care. I've been entrusted to his care. So that, for me, absolutely fits. And I want our marriage to be greater. What about you, babe?
Well, I mean, really, what else am I supposed to say? But yes,
he better say he wanted greater.
Exactly. Obviously, I do. And I can share that because, again, reflecting back with the struggles I've had and the changes I want to make in myself and the marriage can only enhance and make it greater. So I absolutely want that for me and for us.
Yes. Hey, Lisa, thank you for watching. Yes, absolutely, Elaine. That's a word, greater. Absolutely. Because, Frank and I were talking earlier, and he said to me, Val, you want perfection. You want this perfect. And I said, no, because perfection is an illusion. I don't want perfection. However, I always want to strive for excellence. Excellence is attainable. Excellence we can do. I ain't trying to do perfect because I can't be perfect. Because if you strive for perfection, I believe you're always going to be disappointed because you're never going to reach that pinnacle. However, we can strive for excellence. Oh, Ben says he loves hearing men talk about marriage.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Ben. Okay. But when Val says she strives for excellence, I think where I have an issue, not so much an issue, but her excellence is her excellence. My excellence is my excellence. And and no matter how well-meaning I might be, I don't think I'll be ever at her excellence, especially in something she's more, how should I say, good at doing. When we, like she said, we laughed because she wanted to go over some things. And I said, Val, just let me come on. Let us talk. Let us share as we do as a married couple. Because if I try to go over a bunch of things and study that excellence that she's looking for, it might not look the same. It won't look the same for you. And I sometimes feel like I don't want her to feel bad about it. Just let us be us. Let me be me.
Let you
and
be
we'll
you.
Be here together.
Let the brother be a brother. Let the man be the man. Okay? Because and you know what, hon? I have to apologize to you for that, because I know that there are some times when I do kind of nitpicky about those things. I know I can be nitpicky sometimes because I can be picayune. I know that.
And I understand that.
I can definitely be picayune. So I apologize to you for that. And I'm learning to just let my husband be. Just let him be. However that is. I don't have to. Oh, Ben is saying, hey, Lisa, I don't have to agree. He don't have to agree with me. And he doesn't have to do things the way that I would do them. And that's been a bit of a struggle for me sometimes too, because I want him to do it the way that I would do it. If I'm going to do it this way, I want him to do it that way, not his own kind of way. Okay, because listen, I always say there's a man way and there's a mom way. Okay, but I shouldn't expect him to do it the mom way because he ain't a mom.
Okay.
So, there's a scripture that I want to share that I think kind of fits for what we're talking about tonight. And it's in Philippians 3:13. It says, brethren, I do not count myself to have apprehended, but one thing I do, forgetting those things which are behind and reaching forward to those things which are ahead. And I think that definitely fits, because some of the stuff that we experienced in 2021 or 2020, we got to leave it back there. We got to leave it back there, and we have to move beyond from that. We can reflect on those things.
Okay.
Reflection is absolutely appropriate. I see you, Lisa. Reflection. Oh, hey, Kimba. How you doing? Thanks for watching, nephew. Reflection is appropriate, but we don't want to stay back there and get stuck back there, because we're not going to be the same person that we were last year or 5 years ago or 10 years ago, and we should not be.
Sure.
Because if we are, then that means we're not growing. So because with growth, inevitably there's going to be change. There's going to be some things different. And even with our marriage, I want our marriage to grow.
Sure. And any living, breathing thing is going to change from day to day, week to week, year to year, and so on. It's going to change.
And I'm glad you phrased it that way. Any living, breathing thing, because that's exactly how I view marriage. That's exactly how I view marriage. And any living, breathing thing, like you just mentioned, has to be nurtured. It has to be fed. It has to be taken care of. And that's what we need to do. And I believe that what God is calling us to do with our marriage, to take care of each other. Because if I take care of you and you take care of me, the marriage is going to pretty much take care of itself. So for us, for us to be greater in our marriage, we have to care for one another. And I think also care for ourselves in a way that we are intentional about our own personal healing and growth and what we're going to do going forward.
Right. Because again, not to speak on the situation we had earlier, conversation we had in terms of this growth and caring. I still have to understand when something's being shared to me, or when Val's, even what I might describe as complaining, it's not always complaining, people. It's just a moment of sharing. But I get caught in that. I feel like I'm being attacked. But when I stop and reflect, it's not about me at that moment. It's not about me being attacked. I need to hear what's being shared with me, respond in a way that will make her feel good and safe. And again, that feeding, taking care of the marriage will happen.
Absolutely. I'm glad to hear you say that. I'm going to remember this. What time is it? It's 7:21 on January 2nd, 2022. Because the next time he said something about Val, stop complaining. I'm going to say, now you remember when? You remember when? So I am glad that he said that.
But you heard me say I need to recognize. I mean, I'm gonna get it right the next time. But it's okay to bring it up. But it's all right.
Yeah, but I'm going to remind him every chance I get. So some of the things that for myself, I want to be intentional about in 2022. Hold on, somebody just said something. I want to see what they say. Oh yeah, keyword, brother Jackie said is safe.
What's over there?
Keyword is safe. One of the things from a relational perspective is I must, and I want to be, and I'm working at being more respectful, showing more respect to my husband by not interrupting him when he speaks. Now that's a biggie. And, for just full disclosure, I do that a lot. And it makes him very uncomfortable. And sometimes we joke about it. Sometimes we can laugh about it. But then there are those times when it really bothers him. And I can see on his face in that moment, I say, girl, you done screwed up now. And then that's when I sit there, just fold my hands in my lap and just kind of shut my mouth. I shut my mouth. But my goal is to be more intentional about shutting my mouth before it pisses you off.
What time you said it is? What day it is? Are we being recorded? I can bring this back up. I can bring this back up next week because I'm gonna need it next week.
Oh my goodness! Hey Paula, thank you for watching, sis. Thank you so much for watching. Yeah, so that's one of the things I want to do from a relational perspective is definitely show more respect to my husband. And I think it's important for us. I'm speaking to the wives now, the women. It's important to know what is respect and disrespect for your husband, because not everything is going to be seen as disrespectful by every single man, but you need to know what your man feels is respectful and what he feels is disrespectful, so that we can govern ourselves accordingly, because respect is huge to men. It's a huge thing that I think we as women, as wives, should not take for granted. Right. We talk about that male ego, but it's real. It's real. And just because we don't feel the same way and we don't, our ego doesn't impact us the same way that the man's doesn't mean that we should minimize it or dismiss it.
Yeah, I'm not. You know what? I'm not even gonna say nothing on that. I'm glad to hear that. I'm just joking, but yeah, like Val said, you have to determine what he feels is disrespectful, and you, fella, we have to let them know how we feel and what's disrespectful. I'm not gonna keep doing the same thing over and over and over again.
Absolutely,
so glad to hear that.
And that's why communication is so important, because let's say hypothetically, there is something that I do that Frank feels is disrespectful, but from my perspective, it's not. But he gets all mad. He's all pissed off. His face is all toe up. And I'm wondering why. What have I done? Now, if he doesn't communicate to me, Val, when you did XYZ, Val, when you interrupt me when I'm speaking, that I feel very disrespected when you do that. Okay. And he's laughing because he's done that.
Yeah,
he absolutely has done that, and I'm my people. Pray for your girl, and I'm serious now. I'm not joking about this. Pray for me, because I am really, really struggling with that. I think I've gotten a little bit better. Have I gotten better?
Yeah, I'm serious. Yes, and I was smiling because when I was thinking of something else, I felt disrespected of, and I don't think you got it. And you didn't get it because you think as a wife that you have a right. And I'm not, obviously there's rights wives have.
Right.
But there's still, for me, the avenue of disrespect. Right or not, I felt disrespected. Example, we drive, and we're having to come in from our New Year's Eve thing, just having a nice time.
Yeah.
And I get one of those messages on my phone. You call it like what kind of message you call it? Facebook Messenger, where you get the little thing on your phone with the person's face. Now we both with glasses. I got my contacts, she got her glasses, so we can't see who it's from. It pops up. Now, granted, my phone, I'm just saying, I'm thinking it's a happy. What Val does, she hits the button and open it up. Now that again is born from some other things we don't need to really speak on today. But if you know our history, you might know some. But for me, that was disrespectful, because it was my phone, my message. I'll open it up and we both could look at it.
Yeah. But I didn't even think about it, to say the truth. I didn't even see that as disrespectful. I want to see what the comment Jackie made. She says, women tend to get caught up in that quote unquote, I'm a strong woman narrative, and don't respect our husbands the way that we should. And she's saying this as a divorced woman. That's good, Jackie. Thank you so much for sharing that. And Elaine wrote, wives must know their husband's love language. Absolutely. Elaine, you are so right. You are so right. Because for some men, it could be words of affirmation. And if we don't know that, we won't be affirming them with the things that we say, but we could very well be doing the opposite by tearing them down. Because listen, women, sometimes we could be vicious with our tongue. We could be vicious with our tongue. And that's why I believe, listen, that scripture that says life and death is in the power of the tongue. It doesn't necessarily mean literal life or literal death, but we can assassinate our husband's character. We can kill his spirit with our words. And he could kill my spirit with his words. We could speak life or we could speak death to our spouse or to our marriage. We could do either one. But life or death. So, Lovey, what are some of the intentions that you want to set for us for 2022?
Well, it's easy to say, hard to follow through. And for me, it's listening. Listening, hearing what's being said, and then acting on it. Don't have to be at that moment. It could just be something that you said you like, want me to do, and following through. And we've been together a long time, and it's not the first time I've heard that. And there were reasons why I felt I shouldn't. But at this point, again, I repeat, I need to listen, hear, and act upon what I've heard, because I know how that would make her feel. And I know how that will, again, feed our marriage.
Absolutely. Will definitely nurture our marriage. You're right. It's important for when this is the thing. When you hear your spouse mention something that they like, or something they would like to do, or a place they would like to go, keep that in the back of your mind. Deposit that somewhere in the back of your mind. And it doesn't have to be an occasion like a birthday or Valentine's Day or Mother's Day, anything like that, but a just because. I'm telling you, brothers, when you do that, you have scored some serious points with your woman, okay? And brothers, you know what I'm talking about, all right? Listen, she gonna be coming on with the come on. You do that, you have scored some serious points, okay? And for the wives as well, just think about, oh, he said he likes such and such. He said he likes so and so. I'm gonna get that for him. I'm gonna show up. He's gonna come home and it's gonna be there waiting for him. We need to be doing those things for each other, because what it says is, it doesn't just say that you know me, but that you care about me, and that you want to be responsible for putting a smile on my face and joy in my heart. And nothing speaks that more than listening and following through on something that your spouse has said that they like, something they want to do. And it doesn't have to be anything expensive. It doesn't have to be some grand sweeping gesture. Listen, sometimes my husband come home with some popcorn, my favorite popcorn, and some cashews. Listen, I'm happy. I'm happy because that says to me, he knows what I like, and he's bringing home this because he knows this is what I like. It doesn't have to be a big thing, my brothers and my sisters.
Really doesn't.
You don't have to take them to St. Lucia or anything like that. You can do something really, really small.
It would be nice to be taken there, but I'm gonna tell you, for me, sometimes coming home and Val just greets me at the door with a "Hey, Cookie Man" or a hug. Worth coming home to.
I love it. And I have to always remind myself to be intentional about doing that, because I don't do it all the time. And there was a time when I had stopped doing it altogether.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't come to that door. Oh, you home? Okay.
Yeah,
and,
right. Yeah.
And
but again, those things change for us as we continue to be deliberate in feeding and nurturing. There were issues why she wasn't coming to the door.
Right.
Probably didn't care if I came through the door. But but again, if for us, if we feed and be intentional, those things will happen.
Yeah. And something else I want us together to be intentional about is having a consistent date night, because we have not had a consistent date night. And when I say consistent, it doesn't necessarily have to be every Friday or every Saturday or every Tuesday or it will be great, but our schedules and our lives don't necessarily allow that to happen every single week, especially on the weekends, because we like to spend a lot of time with our grandbabies. We love spending time with our grandbabies and having them here and doing things with them. But I would like for us to set that intention to have consistent date nights. And let me tell you something. I saw something on social media a couple of weeks ago that somebody wrote. I think it was in the Marriage Club, and they said Netflix is not a date night. I beg to differ. You can make Netflix a date night. You can, get your favorite snacks, sit up on the couch, and cuddle up under a blanket, especially depending on what you got on underneath that blanket, and sit there and watch a movie together. What's wrong with that? Yes, Lisa, be intentional about date night. Hi, Em. Nice to see you. Thanks you so much for watching. So I beg to differ. A date night is whatever you and your spouse call a date night. You could go out for ice cream together and share a sundae together. That's your date night. Right? He's looking at it.
Yeah. See, we say these things and they come from a honest place.
Yeah.
But, I've heard, well, that ain't a date night. I said, wait a minute. A date night is whatever we want to be a date night. A walk around the block, or walk through the park, sitting on a recliner, looking at you while you're reading a book. Maybe I'm minimizing it, but a date night is whatever works for you. For y'all.
That's right. Whatever the couple decides. So whoever wrote that post, I don't necessarily agree that Netflix is not a date night, because you could make it anything. There was a time when I made a picnic on the floor. We were in the house. We didn't leave the house, but we had a picnic on the floor. I had the basket, and I had, little finger foods, and I had our glasses of wine, and whatever. Frank likes something stronger than wine.
Yeah.
But
that was when we were young and more nimble. I don't know about a date night on the floor. We can get down there. Might be hard to get back up.
Well, we can help each other up. I just want to give a shout out to Pop. My father-in-law is watching, and Adrena. Hey, Adrena, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Another thing I want us to do for 2022 is to make sure that we take a vacation to the degree that the pandemic allows. Because we were talking about going to Aruba, and I think, I since modified that. And I'm going to tell you, my only reason for modifying it is because if I get over there to the country I'm going to,
Netflix is legit,
I had that up there.
Okay.
If we go to the whatever country, let's say we get to Aruba, and I test positive, and then I got to keep my behind over there for until I test negative. I ain't got no money to be staying in Aruba for no extra 5 days or 8 days or 10 days or whatever time it's going to take me to become test negative. And that really is the only reason why.
Yeah, that we had to think about it.
We had to stop and think about it. So I said we would take a trip in the country and within the continental United States, so that won't be an issue about having to test negative to get back in the country, because I'll already be in the country. But I definitely want us to take a vacation, and I want us to do a family vacation. That's definitely something on the agenda for 2022. Now I would love. Rock said Aruba is a place to go for a weekend.
Where?
Oh, you don't have to be stuck there. Really? We got to talk, Rock. He said Aruba. You don't got to get stuck there. We're gonna talk, Rock. My nephew, Rock Davis Gordine. He just put that up there. So we're gonna we'll talk after this is over, or either tomorrow, so you can let me know whatever information you have regarding Aruba. But our family vacation, I love family. I'll put it like that. And when I'm with family, I feel like that is the joy of my life. That's what I live for. And I love to spend family vacations. We had a family vacation this past summer, and my goal is to have a family vacation every single year. Hey, how you doing? Your coworker from St. Joe's.
Yeah. Oh my.
She calls herself Nima, but I forgot her.
Milagros.
Milagros. Hey, Milagros. Thank you so much for watching. You see, your boy's still here, right? Girl.
Yeah.
Crystal, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all of you guys. Thank you so very much. And yeah, so I want to do that. Have the family vacation, and I want to take my babies. I got it. I put it up there.
No, that's Uncle Jimmy talking.
Oh, it's Uncle Jimmy. Hey, cousin Jimmy, Uncle Jimmy. He's everybody's uncle. He's really our cousin, but he's everybody's uncle, so we call him Uncle Jimmy also. What was I saying? Oh, taking my babies out. I'm gonna take when I say my babies, I mean our 3 children. I want to take my children out for a date. That's one of my family intentions that I'm setting for 2022. Now, from a financial perspective, financial intention for 2022, number 1, save more money. Save more money. I mean, listen, we are in our mid 60s, so it's not like we got a whole lot of time to save, but I still think that at whatever age you are, and whatever stage of life you're in, you can still make ways to save more money and to be more fiscally and financially responsible with whatever funds you have and what you've been blessed with. Hey, Crystal, good to see you, my sister. And listen, and along those lines of saving more money, I've got to give less of my money to Amazon.com. Because I'm telling you, sometimes I go crazy with Amazon. Sometimes every day of the week, I've got a package coming. And some days when I don't have a package, I'm disappointed, which I'm not supposed to be. So along those lines, to not spend so much with Amazon and to look for other ways to cut spending as well. You have any other intentions or goals for 2022, babe, you want to share?
No, again, to piggyback on that financial thing, as Val was talking about the spending on, what is it?
Amazon.
I was going to chime in, but then I could hear her saying, but Frank, at least I got something to show for it. It's stuff in the house compared to how I might spend money and have nothing to show for it.
Oh, don't get me started.
Which we won't go into depth. I just need to understand that is a detriment to our overall financial health. Thinking things are going to come abundantly by giving the government some money. Now, unless I hit the 500 million Monday. But anyway, no, nothing else.
That ain't gonna happen. And Minister Emily is right. Investing to grow your money. Absolutely, Minister M. Thank you so much for that. And from a spiritual perspective, I want us to have more for me to have more dedicated time to study the word. Study the word. And I say study the word as opposed to read the word, because to me it's different. I can read and read through a book, a few chapters or whatever, but that's very different from actually sitting down and studying the word. And I absolutely need to and want to spend more time doing just that. So that's one of the intentions that I'm setting for 2022. And also from a spiritual perspective is to be obedient the first time. To be obedient the first time and to not, have God have to come at me again and again and again, and basically wear me down. So let me see what my nephew said. He said, in our mid-60s, being homeowners, what are you saving money for other than taking trips? Listen, you're absolutely right. I want to save money so I can do all the things that I want to do, whatever that is. And for me, taking vacations, taking trips is at the top of that list for me, because I have shared with my husband that one of the things on my bucket list is to get an RV, to go cross country, and to not come back home for 6 whole months. You see, he's already groaning about it, right? But that is definitely on my bucket list. So you're right, Rock. What we want to save money for is to just do whatever it is that I want to do. I want to be able to do it. I don't want to have to say that I can't do it because I don't have the money. And I don't necessarily want to do a lot of extravagant things.
No, never do.
I think the most extravagant thing would be taking a vacation at least once or twice a year. So, yeah.
You said I would.
Rock.
I would probably. Sitting here now, I'm not sure, but I guess once I'm out there, I'd probably have a different mindset and different feel about things.
Yeah, I definitely believe that you would. And one of the things I didn't say earlier from a relational perspective is that I want us to engage in devotional time together. Now, I do my own personal devotions every day, but I want us to do that together as a couple, because I believe that is very, very, very important in terms of us strengthening our connection. Because listen, the enemy is busy. He don't play fair, and he targets marriages every single chance he gets. So us spending time together in prayer together and doing devotions together will strengthen us. It'll strengthen the intimacy. It'll strengthen us from a spiritual perspective. We can't go wrong by doing that.
I would agree. I guess the only thing I'm thinking about is don't wait or expect me to initiate this. Some things, rightfully so, you should expect me to initiate it. But if this is something that I know would benefit us for it to happen, being 100%, as the kids say, keeping it honey,
keeping it 100. Yeah, I know that.
You got to say, honey, come. And on that note, there's going to be some struggle.
I know that.
So don't lose your patience. Don't get angry and all that stuff. And if I don't want to do it that day, leave me be. Like you said earlier, leave me be.
But and then I really, in all honesty, for full disclosure, that is one of the things that I would like to see happen. I would like for you to be the one to initiate it, because not for nothing, it gets frustrating for me. Because I'm looking at it from a biblical perspective, and having that expectation that you, as a leader, as a man of the house, as a husband, to be the one to take the initiative, and for you to be the one to say, babe, come on, it's time for us to have devotions, it's time for us to pray together. Now, also realizing, even with that expectation, realizing that you're not there, then at this point, at least, I know that the onus is still going to be on me to have to do that. However, there are times when I find it to be frustrating, because I do want you to step into that role and to fill that role to the potential that I know that you can.
Okay, well, thank you.
Now, what do you want to say on that?
Thank you.
How do you feel about stepping into that role as a true leader?
I hear you and I understand. I said, I'm listening and I'm hearing you. Now, acting on it, which I want to do, is a work, will continue to be a work in progress for me, coming from that spiritual aspect, being a leader and taking hold.
Yeah.
Because quite frankly, I didn't take hold of a lot of things for the longest time, and it became easy not to. And we've had this conversation. Now, at this point, I like to believe that I won't lean on that excuse as much as I used to. You did everything. I'm used to you doing it, so I don't have to.
True. That's true.
2022, maybe it's time to change a little something.
Oh, I'm very glad to hear that. And because in some regards, I have to say, this is kind of a monster that I created. Okay, it's not. I can't say that it is all on Frank, because I participated in the dynamics of our marriage being the way that it is because of my impatience, and I didn't want to wait for him to take the lead, and I didn't want to wait for him to do certain things. And I'm saying, well, what the heck? This has got to be done. That's got to be done. Forget him. Let me just go ahead and do it. Let me just go ahead and do this. Let me just go ahead and do that. And it became the pattern in our marriage, and it became easy for him to just sit back and allow me to do it. And now, in some regards, it became easier for me to just go ahead and do it. Now, the thing is, for what I'm going to have to make sure I do is that when you do step into that role, is to be able to relinquish my hold on it, to allow you and to give you the space to do it, and to not necessarily do it all right the first time.
Exactly. Okay, I was about to say that. Going back to that excellence. I'm initially, whenever I take hold, I'm not going to ever do it like you did it.
Right.
I'm going to do it in the way that I do it, and hopefully I'll get better at it.
Yeah.
And you'll be comfortable.
Yeah, anything that you do repeatedly over time is going to get better. My cousin Elaine said, don't pick devotion time doing football or basketball. Show you're right.
No, I saw that. I'm laughing, and I started to say, well, that could be 24/7, but it makes a point, because if you do it unconsciously or whenever you do it, I'm going to struggle, and I'm going to say, well, why are you doing? Because there might have been times, why are you calling me now? The game's on. It's Sunday. And that could be a problem. So that I'm glad to see that.
Yeah.
Even though it sounded kind of funny, there's some truth to it.
There's absolute truth to that, because I need to be sensitive to your feelings and what you're doing and what you like to do, which I know is to watch football and watch baseball and watch basketball and watch bowling and watch hockey and watch golf and watch tennis and watch everything. So my sister, it ain't just basketball and football, it's everything. And especially because there's ESPN.
Those other things can get pushed to the side. Thanks to the advent of DVR and being able to record stuff, I can go back at it. But, again, to go back to that, because doing it then, my attention, I might be sitting here looking at you,
right?
But my mind is going to be, okay, what's going back on the TV? What did I miss? And I need to go see it. I'm jonesing, I'm stressing, I ain't paying attention. Now I'm mad.
Yes, yeah. And you know what? In all honesty, that has happened before. And you know what? I hate to say this. I hate to admit this, but I kind of did it on purpose. I kind of did it on purpose because, I was younger in our marriage then. I got better sense now, but they don't call it young and dumb for nothing. Okay. But there were times when I would do that. I would intentionally choose in the middle of a basketball game or middle of a football game to say, come on, honey, let's do this and let's do that. Because I wanted to see that he cared more about me than he did that game. Now, how stupid is that? But I did it. I did it. I am not proud of it. But it is something that I no longer do. If Frank is watching a game, and sometimes I'll, go in the room where he's watching the game. I'll sit with him for a little while, and sometimes I'll ask, I might ask about halftime.
Yeah.
Especially because sometimes he's watching this thing called the Red Zone. I have no idea I don't get it, but let's say that he's watching a game and there's a halftime. Now he's supposed to be watching the game, but if I walk in the room and he's watching something else, now then I might say, hey babe, is it halftime? Can we do this or can we do that during halftime? I may have something to say to him. Now nowadays we just talk during halftime, but back in the day we used to do a whole lot of other stuff during halftime, but it don't happen like that now.
Yeah. Again, back in the day, you're younger, you can respond quicker. In halftime, you don't need all that talking and touching. You just go to it. Now I might need all the halftime to get ready up.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, but he's absolutely right. Years ago, that was our Sunday thing. We would watch football and halftime. I couldn't wait for halftime. I'd watch football with them then. Halftime will be on and pop in. But nowadays, not so much. We might have a conversation.
Because there's no halftime. The red zone don't give you halftime. So now you got to wait from 11 o'clock in the morning to 8:30 when everything goes off.
8:30.
By then, I'm tired.
But anyway, guys, I want to, I don't know if there's anything else, babe, that you would like to share. Oh, I know there's one other intention I had, and I heard someone say this, and something from a vocational perspective as it pertains to marriage beyond the breach, is that I want to spend less time in the business and more time working on the business, because now my caseload is so large, is such that I don't have the time that I'd like to have to do other certain things with the business of marriage beyond the breach. So that's something I definitely want to work on for 2022, because in order for the business to grow and to get greater, which is our theme for 2022, to get greater, I have to pay dedicated time to it. I have to be intentional about paying attention to working on the business, as opposed to so much working in the business. And that's what's been happening. With my caseload every single day, my cases start from 9 o'clock in the morning, and my last case is at 8 p.m. And there might be a couple of hours in between, excuse me, where I don't have clients. So I'm going to have to work on that to try to scale back a little bit in order to do some of the things that I want to do. So I think that's kind of sums it up, Dave.
I do too.
So I thank you all for watching.
Thank you.
What we were talking about today, for those who were not here in the beginning, we look back at some of the highlights for our family and our marriage for 2021. And we're looking ahead and setting our intention and our goals for from a family perspective, from a financial perspective, from a marital perspective, and from a financial perspective, what our goals and our intentions are for 2022. And if any of you have not done that, either for yourself and especially for your marriage, if you're married, I strongly encourage you to sit down with your partner and to have that discussion. What are our goals for 2022? What are our intentions? What do we want to see happen in our marriage for 2022 and beyond? What are the things we want to do? What can we do differently? How can we show up differently? How can I love you well for 2022? How can I love you better? How can I meet your needs? How can I fill your love tank? How can I speak your love language? And have that conversation with each, asking the other, and each one giving their response. So I want to thank you all again for your support. It means so very, very much to me and the Cookie Man.
It does.
It means so very much, because sometimes you think you're going to show up here and there's not going to be anybody there, or nobody's going to watch. Even later, nobody's going to listen. But you guys have been supportive and you've been consistent, and I appreciate you. And I just pray that this year is everything that you hope for it to be. I pray that God will meet every single one of your needs. I pray that you will experience divine provision, that you will have divine protection, and that everything that you do will glorify God, and it will be for your good and will enrich your life and the life of your marriage, life of your children, your grandchildren, and beyond, and everyone that is connected with you in any way, shape, or form. So again, thank you. And you can, what is it again? Like, share, subscribe. Yeah, those of you who have not gone to the YouTube channel, you can go there and subscribe. I would appreciate it. And you could go to Instagram and share. Do you share on Instagram? No, I think you like on Instagram. Whatever it is, y'all know what to do. Because y'all know better than I. I'm still trying to figure a lot of that stuff out. But I love you guys, and I want to thank you again, and enjoy the rest of your day. And yeah, Uncle Jimmy said, tell a friend. I love you, and I'll see you next time. Oh, just by the way, next weekend, our broadcast is going to be on Saturday night at 8 instead of Sunday, because the guest that I'm having could not do Sunday at 7 p.m. So in order to accommodate her schedule, because I really, really wanted her on the show, we're going to be on Saturday at 8 p.m. But I'll post it on Facebook and you'll get the notification for that. Okay?
Okay.
God bless you guys. Have a wonderful night. Bye-bye.